So on that note, I'd like to start talking about our second module of the day, which is EnergySaver. EnergySaver is a fantastic module that is going to, of course, as the name implies, save a lot of energy, which of course will save you over a period of time money. There are many different rebate programs, and I'm going to ask Tammy to talk about these in just a few minutes. But first I want to show you in a little more detail how the EnergySaver software actually can be implemented. So right here next to our little screen view icon, we have our EnergySaver icon. And when I click on that, it's going to give me three different categories: Power Profiles, EnergySaver Report, and Client Shutdown Settings. So I'll start with Power Profiles. Power Profiles is the way you can tell the EnergySaver software, which is actually just collecting data in your smart control and using that data to create reports. This is how you tell the EnergySaver software to what the data it is that it needs to collect, or what the energy usage of a particular computer might be. So to give you an idea, what I'm going to do here is create a power profile. And this power profile will correspond to a particular machine or machine model that you have in your organization. So let's say, for example, you have many different HP computers that are all the same make and model of HP, same year that you purchased at the same time. And we could just name this, we'll just name it for HP, and then we'll enter the watts that machine is going to use per hour. And there are a couple different ways you can find this information, the watts per hour information. The watts per hour can be found there's in the documentation of the specifications on the machine. So the manufacturer will have a watts per hour published piece. This isn't always accurate, so that's a good way to do it, but a better way to do it is if you do have some way to test the actual power usage of the machine with monitoring, like an electric monitor. You can actually get the actual number that machine is using. So for argument's sake, I'm going to say 150 watts. One thing that should be said, this is the watts of the computer itself added together with the watts of the monitor. So the electricity used by both the computer and the monitor are included in this watts per hour figure. Then the second piece is we want to enter your price per kilowatt hour. So this is the price that you pay for electricity from your local electricity company. The best way to find this information is to go directly to your electricity bill and take it off of there. It's going to be on that electricity bill, and that'll be the exact amount that you pay. If for some reason you are unable to do that, we do have a little search function here where if I click search, it's going to send us to the Energy Information Administration for the federal government, which has a lot of different reports here. See a bunch of different Excel files. If we go to section 5, this is going to have some different end-use power costs by state. Now, once again, this is going to be a state average power cost and may not apply directly to your particular municipality or your particular location. So the best way to do this, once again, is to take it from your electricity bill. I'm going to go ahead and just go with 10 cents an hour, which is a little bit below the national average. But you may live in a municipality or someplace where they have peak and off-peak rates. So you may pay more than one rate for electricity depending on the time of day that you are using that electricity. We are able to figure that into the calculation on how much electricity you use as well as how much that electricity costs. And to do that, you just click the hourly button here and it will bring up this screen. So let's say that we pay more on peak hours, let's say, are Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. And on weekends and nights, we don't pay as much for electricity. So the default rate is 10%, but I want to enter our peak rate. So we're going to call this peak rate. And we're going to say that is 11 cents per kilowatt hour. And we're going to give it a color code. And we'll just call it red for now. I'll click Add Update. And now my peak rate has come down here. Now in order for me to make sure that that peak rate gets applied to the machine's power as it's calculating the power usage, I'll highlight the peak rate, and then I go down to this graph. And the graph gives us top to bottom, Monday through Sunday, and right to left, it gives us an hour increments throughout the course of the day. So if it was Monday through Friday, 8 a.m., let's say once again, to 5 p.m., I can highlight those areas. And I get the idea. You'd highlight all of this, and then it will calculate the peak power rate during those particular times of day on those particular days of the week. So once again, just making this number a little more accurate so you are getting the best information you possibly can. Now, we've gotten our peak, we've added our machine, we know the watts per hour, we know the price per kilowatt hour we're paying. By default, we are going to assign the machines with EnergySaver a default power profile. Now this is, once again, this is just something that's going to come with the software. You'll definitely want to add your own power profiles for each individual machine or machine model that you're using throughout your organization. We've added this, but in order, we need to assign it to a group of machines. So let's say that we know, I'm going to close this out, we know that our machine's in group 2, and you might have one or you might have many machines, you might have 100 machines. You'd highlight all the machines that are in that group that are all, let's say, that HP model. You can right-click on the machines or on the group of machines. If we go down to EnergySaver and then over to Client Power Profile, we can now assign that power profile to those machines. I'll just click HP, enter the password, and now we have the power profile has been assigned to this machine, so it will know that that's how this machine will, the smart control will know that's how to tabulate the data that it receives. So we highly encourage you to shut off your machines at the end of the day when you're not using them, and you can do that with a schedule from the smart control, and I won't go into scheduling today. We will have an upcoming webinar where we'll talk more about scheduling. But just to give you an idea of how much energy this can save, on our website, centuriontech.com, we'll pull that over here, we do have an EnergySaver calculator. And this is just an estimation, and in fact it's usually very low because the power costs have gone up since we've created this EnergySaver calculator. But if I go to energy savings here on the left-hand side of our website, I'll enter the price per kilowatt hour. So we'll say that that's 10 cents once again. And the number of desktops, let's say that it's 100 desktops. And the watts used per desktop, once again, let's say that's 150. Let's say that we have a 12-hour downtime between Monday and Friday. If I just click Submit with that information, you see that it saves about $18 a day just making sure that the machines are turned off for 12 hours when you're not using them overnight. Over the course of a year, you see this saves over $6,500 just, once again, making sure that these machines are turned off. So we highly encourage you to do that. Make sure that they're turned off, and the EnergySaver will tabulate all that data. But we also have another way to make sure the machines that are not in use can be turned off, and that's what we call client shutdown settings. And what the client shutdown settings will ensure that a machine that has been out of use for a period of time, meaning that there's been no interaction with that machine, no keyboard or mouse movement, after a period of time, which you set here in the minutes section, let's say that after 45 minutes of inactivity, we want the computer to shut down and turn itself off. So that if you have many computers throughout your organization, but not all of them are being used at any given time, you can make sure that they're turned off after 45 minutes of inactivity, of course saving that much more power and that much more money. You can also, if you have applications that might be running for extended periods of times and you want those applications to prevent the EnergySaver software from shutting down your computer, you can enter those applications, and then if those applications are running on the client computer, we will not shut them down. So once again, we can shut the machines off not in use. An example I like to use is for a college lab. We've all perhaps been in a computer lab at a college or in a high school even, where there might be 30 computers that are free use, but you go in and there's 5 computers in use at any given time. Well, when you have 25 on and not in use through the course of a 12-hour period, that can add up to quite a bit of money in energy costs. So we can shut those down without having to worry about someone physically going to each machine and turning them off. So that saves even more money. The last piece of EnergySaver, and a very important piece, is the EnergySaver report. So our EnergySaver module is collecting all of this data, and then we can give it back to you in a report form. And this is very important for any rebate programs, but also just very important for your information so that you know how this can be used. We can put in a time period that we'd like to run this on. Click, for example, Detail Report, and it gives us all this information about how much power we have saved over the course of time. You see kilowatts per hour, which is what the electricity company is going to care about on their rebate program, and this gives you a total dollar amount saved. So even if you don't have rebate programs, this still gives you much faster ROI with EnergySaver and Smart Shield software. It just pays for itself that much more quickly. Or you can just take this information, export it to CSV, and take the spreadsheet to your boss and ask for a raise. I've saved you $11,000. How much are you going to pay me? That may or may not work, but hey, you never know till you ask, right? So on that note, that wraps up how EnergySaver can work and how they can be implemented